Excelsior!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Excelsior. This is episode 8. I'm your moderator, Christian Buckley. Joining me this week is Jack Martin.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm very excited. We're back in the schedule.
Oh, yeah. Back at it.
It's nice. We're so close to Endgame.
A little too close.
Yeah.
I just want it now.
Speaking of people who want it now,
Yeah.
Pat Maroney, you want Endgame right now, don't you?
I've been in like a fairly bad mood all week.
Just give it to me.
There's been so much frustration about just like I've just been watching I've probably smashed 4 hours of just like theory videos just because I'm that ready for the movie.
I don't think I can do that. I don't want to go into it with people telling me what it's going to be like.
Yeah. I mean, I have all my own theories, and I'm sure none of them are true.
Mm-hmm.
So, before we get into Endgame talk, because there is some Endgame talk to go into this week, we're continuing Cast Me Baby one more time, where every week we pull a name from the box of Marvel. In this box is a bunch of characters that Marvel has yet to cast in the MCU, characters that now they have full access to. Jack and I will each have 1 minute to make a choice for who this character should be played by, defend our choice, and then Pat will cast said character based on our choices. Who are we casting this week?
All right, we are casting Norman Osborn.
Norman Osborn.
Me!
Norman Osborn. Okay. I got a perfect one.
I do too.
All right.
I do too.
All right.
We talked about this
I know.
yesterday. Didn't
I don't
we?
even need to consult my list.
Me either.
I
don't even have a list, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
All right. So who wants to go first?
What do you want to do?
Can I go first? I don't think
Sure.
I've been first.
Okay,
in a
yeah,
while.
go first.
Right.
Christopher Walken.
Ooh, okay.
I want Christopher Walken to be Norman Osborn because Norman Osborn's this old man. He's a little out there. And I'm basing my Norman Osborn off of the Sam Raimi Norman Osborn. And I think Christopher Walken is just this kind of weird dude that everyone loves seeing. For example, Jeff Goldblum in the MCU, everyone loved just because he's this weird guy that he's kind of a meme now.
Yes.
Christopher Walken is like that. And aside from being a meme, he's a good actor. And I feel like he could pull off this role, especially being like he's more whimsical. And I think this Spider-Man is a little more whimsical.
Yeah.
So I could see that, and he's a little weird, and I don't know. I think it'd be funny to see him in the suit.
That's a very strong that's a very strong entry. I don't know how to submission.
Yeah.
Do you prefer suited up Goblin, like Techie Goblin, or Monster Goblin?
I wasn't introduced to the Monster Goblin until Spider-Verse.
Okay.
So that doesn't really have a whole connection to me. I like the suit.
The Power Ranger.
Yeah, and
All
I
right.
want the exact same
Exact same suit, okay.
from Sam Raimi.
All right. So, my choice, I've wanted this for a while. I feel like the perfect casting for Norman Osborn in the MCU is none other than Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, nice.
Because Matthew McConaughey, I feel like he's right on the edge of being old enough to be really like a wise businessman, like older than Tony Stark, more knowledgeable than Tony Stark when it comes to business and deals and stuff like that. But he's young enough where I can still see him having that sharp edge and wit to him that I think the Goblin can use. Also, the dual personality stuff. I personally, because of Spider-Man cartoons I watched when I was younger, I like the Monster Goblin, not the costume. So I feel like having an imposing threat like that has the wit of Matthew McConaughey, but the hulking size of maybe something bigger than the Hulk would be cool to see. McConaughey also, I feel like, he's very approachable in a lot of his roles. He's very humbling is not the right word, but I feel like Norman needs to have that essence to him as well because Peter looks up to him. He's almost like a foster father because of his relationship with Harry, and I feel like having that dynamic from Matthew McConaughey with Tom Holland would be very nice to see.
Very cool. I like that.
So those are two very strong entries, and I hate to be kind of biased, but I lean more in favor of the techie Goblin as opposed to the Monster Goblin. So that's why I'm gonna go with Christopher Walken.
Beta.
And also
it's
because
fine.
and also because I think Matthew McConaughey. This is part of the conversation we had yesterday. I would love for him to play Adam Warlock.
Okay.
But
I have another pick for Adam Warlock that we'll get to down the line, but
Adam Warlock, is that in Guardians 3? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So there we go.
All right.
Joining Beyonce as Mystique, Dolph Lundgren as Apocalypse, John Krasinski as Reed Richards, Eddie Murphy as Blade, Gerard Butler as Dr. Otto Octavius. Becky Lynch, aka Becky Quinn, as She-Hulk. We have Christopher Walken playing the Green Goblin.
Wow, so green. Harry, where'd you put my grenade? I'm glad my nonsense suggestions are being chosen.
I mean, I could see it. I could see him go some interesting places with the character.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely some interesting places.
Yeah,
I'm looking at like photos of him.
How old is Walken now?
Oh, he's got to be high 70s.
It's got to be there. Yeah, he's definitely not a franchise man.
He was in Batman Returns. Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed as Batman?
Oh, he's 75 years old.
There it is.
Okay,
that might have been a mistake.
Can't undo it, Pat. Can't undo it.
He's really.
You made your choice. I thought I had a perfect
born
choice
before World War II ended.
Yeah, he sure was.
All right. Well.
Oh man.
Speaking of characters that aren't in the MCU yet, Kamala Khan is a recent addition to the Marvel universe in the comics over the past few years. Kamala Khan took over the role of Ms. Marvel when Carol Danvers' Ms. Marvel became Captain Marvel.
Ooh.
So Ms. Marvel is rumored to be joining the MCU sooner rather than later. This is something that Kevin Feige's brought up in the past. But now, via Screen Rant, we have a quote from an interview with Kevin Feige that shades a little bit more light on the situation. Via Screen Rant, Kevin Feige confirms that MCU's version of Kamala Khan will be a present-day teenager. Quote, I think Ms. Marvel is a contemporary story, and I don't think she was born yet during Captain Marvel. So, Kamala Khan, I'm not super familiar with. I know her power. I don't know. She has some relation to Carol. It's not blood or being related, I don't think. But there was a period of time when they were working together.
Lieutenant Troublemaker. Could be Lieutenant Trouble.
I saw people see shades of that, being like, "Oh, it reminds me of Kamala."
I told you guys in the car ride home she was going to be somebody.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I don't know if they would take her specifically. I could see something like doing something with that character, but I do think Kamala Khan is worth adapting because similar to Peter Parker and Spider-Man, it is the relatable modern teenager being a superhero, and it is something. Again, they haven't done before. They can put the female perspective, the lens of that over it, as well as I believe she's Muslim. I'm not 100% sure. Pat, do you want to look that up for me? See what where she's from. But yeah, I remember Kamala Khan being added to the Marvel Comics was a very big deal.
Yeah. I don't know who that is, but from the sound of it, I like how the MCU is kind of dipping into having more younger people in it, especially like Spider-Man in this.
She is Marvel's first Muslim superhero.
All right, yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, okay. No, I've definitely heard that then.
Yeah, she has stretchy powers.
Yes. So yeah, I would like to see more like teenagers in the MCU. I think it's just fascinating pitting younger people with some of the smartest people in the world, some of the strongest people in the world, and they're just kind of young, impressionable kids who have these incredible powers.
Yeah, I think also on a behind-the-scenes aspect too, like casting in that way. I feel like Tom Holland has been able to have an elevated performance and grow as an actor outside of just the MCU because he's been around Robert Downey Jr. and even Jon Favreau and people who have been seasoned by this industry for a long time. So passing the torch not only to the characters but also to the younger cast, I feel like is one very smart, like Harry Potter style, keep these kids around for a while. And yeah, I would love to see Kamala Khan. I would love to see a younger Avengers team in general.
Me too. Well, Teen Titans kind of?
Yeah, maybe. Something like that would be cool. Either not necessarily the new Avengers or young Avengers approach, but maybe like West Coast Avengers.
Yep.
Where it is a younger team. It's more California, surfer dude bro kind of vibe to it. In the comics, actually, West Coast Avengers is going on right now. I think it's ending very soon.
Yep.
But it is Hawkeye, pretty much. I think he's the leader. He's leading a group of like younger, newer Marvel characters. Like Gwenpool is one of them. There's a version of Deadpool that's Gwen Stacy.
Interesting.
She's in there. I'm not sure who else is in that roster, but like something like that where it is a younger group, I feel like is interesting.
I would like that a lot.
Yeah. So Not a huge story, but worth mentioning because I feel like that is a trend of what we're going to be seeing in the future.
I think so.
Moving on, speaking of young characters, Spider-Man Far From Home got some posters this week.
Sure did.
They highlight Peter in different European locations, including the London Eye and others.
He says that because we can't figure out where he is. One of the
It's
photos.
probably
What?
bad that I don't know the other landmarks.
Berlin is one of them.
It is?
It could be that one.
Yeah, it's the one where there's like a big. It's like the famous.
Like the architecture in the back?
Yeah, with
Like
like
the
a horse
squared-
on top.
Okay.
That's Berlin.
Yeah,
Thank
'cause
you.
I
At least
was-
you have somebody who's cultured on the show.
So, which is weird. I thought that was weird because he went to Berlin, or
He's already been in Berlin.
He was
Yeah.
in Berlin
Airport,
in
yeah.
Civil War.
Yeah.
He's probably like, I've already been here.
Yeah.
But Christian like showed me that. He was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's the Colosseum." And he was like, "No, it's not."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Berlin.
There's one in Italy. It's just like one of the things the gondolas go through. I'm blanking on the word.
Yeah.
The channel, the water
Yeah.
channel.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Venice. Yeah.
The river roads, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So also all of these posters, these are the official posters for the movie. The red and black suit.
Yes.
So I'm glad we're sticking with that. I like that suit.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, a lot of our questions, like we were talking yesterday again, like is that suit red and navy or red and black?
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Yeah, red and black. The homecoming suit was red and blue.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is red and black. Interesting.
Yeah. So if we have to guess, I would assume there's that line in the Far From Home trailer where he's like, "I'm not going to take my suit." Maybe he has to make a new suit while he's there. It doesn't have as much
Yes.
tech, and that addresses that issue that people had.
Very true.
Well, the foreign trailers showed that he had his suit in his bag,
Okay.
and then the lady stopped him at customs,
oh.
and she opened his bag, and she didn't see the suit, and then she goes, "Sir," and then he looks up all nervous, and she's like, "You can't bring food onto the flight." She like holds a banana.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
He has his stealth suit. At
He does,
one point or
yeah.
another.
So maybe the suit like turns into that. Maybe it has a mode because it is already half black.
Yeah, I imagine Nick Fury gives him the suit.
Probably.
He goes without it, and Nick Fury's like, mm.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Something like that. But I like it. It gives me shades of Amazing Fantasy 15 because it's that cover of him it looks red and black and there's the blue highlight on his like legs and stuff. But yeah, I like the suit a lot.
I am equally excited for this movie as I am Endgame. Perhaps maybe a little bit more excited.
Yeah, I'm really just fascinated to see where they go
Yeah, definitely.
because Endgame is going to do a lot of things for the MCU and I just like don't even know where to start with Endgame, you know, because again we've seen almost nothing. But speaking of that, this isn't on the show notes, but I wanted to throw this out there. Chris Evans did an interview about his career with the Hollywood Reporter, I think, and he was talking about like being from Massachusetts, how he likes Tom Brady, how he never says he wants to retire because he feels like saying you're retiring as an actor or from a role isn't like in his opinion, he feels like it's not earned or something like that.
Right.
And he said he choked up 3 times shooting Endgame. And I forgot the exact quote, but he says, like, I can't believe they even cut a trailer together because there's so many visual spoilers in there. And he said something else, and then he was like, I shouldn't have even said that.
Yeah.
So Endgame is going to do a lot of things.
Yeah, that's going to be... I don't even know what's going to happen in that movie. I have no clue.
Well, consider... The rumor is we've only seen the first 15 minutes of that movie.
Right.
And that
In the
movie,
trailers, yeah.
next news story, is 3 hours and 2 minutes long.
Hell yeah. Real excited about that.
Me too.
I love that. I love every second of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would never have done that in like 2012 when the first Avengers came out. But
Yeah.
now they're like, butts are going to be in the seat.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah.
You're going to be there.
Yeah.
So 3 hours.
Big
Big fan of that.
Me too. This might just be because of, like, I watch more movies than just blockbusters,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have an issue with long movies.
I usually don't either.
Yeah. Like, if something is entertaining enough where I'm invested in it, or even if it's not entertaining, like, oh, things are constantly happening,
Mm-hmm.
if there's something that's worth exploring with that amount of time, then yeah, let me watch it.
Honestly, I prefer watching the extended editions of the Lord of the Rings movies
Mhm.
that are like 4 hours long.
Yeah. Like, I don't have any issue with that. I
Mhm.
know in the case of those, I don't know if they ever screen those in theaters, if they ended up
Mm.
doing intermissions or anything like that.
I'm not sure.
But I feel like I've seen a 3-hour movie in theaters before and they didn't
Yeah.
do an intermission.
Yeah.
Because
And-
I say that because people are wondering if they're going to do an intermission for Endgame.
Wasn't the
Oh, I
Dark
don't think
Knight
so.
like 3 hours.
No, Dark Knight's like 220, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe 240.
It's in the twos.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this, that like if anybody can do a 3-hour movie, it's them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But also, like, if anyone's earned the right to do a 3-hour movie,
Yeah.
it's Marvel. Like
For sure.
they've clearly earned their audience.
Yeah, that's a good thing you bring up because I feel like the general audience, a complaint I see a lot with I guess average moviegoers is, oh, it felt too long, it was too long. I had to pee, it was too long. So Marvel, I feel like, is at a point where they, like you said, Pat, they've earned having a movie this long.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and I don't even like saying earned because plenty of other movies have earned having long lengths because of the stories they're telling.
Right.
And then people just choose to not recognize that. But since it is Marvel, since it's popular, I feel like now and 10 years after the fact, 11 years now, having a 3-hour movie to wrap everything up nicely makes sense to me. I'm excited for it, and I'm glad they didn't have to cut anything out. I'm sure they cut stuff out, but like, they have room to breathe.
I'm excited for it too, but I'm also, to play devil's advocate, a little worried that it has more of an opportunity to have a really, really low point in the movie where it's just kind of boring. People get up to use the bathroom.
Like a lull.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say this is unrelated, but I just thought of this because I have ADD. You ever think about, like, when's Far From Home, like, debuts, premieres, like, Tom Holland's got to be going on the longest vacation of all time because they marathon shot Endgame
and Infinity War,
and Infinity War, and then he went right into shooting.
Yeah.
Which actually makes me think, will he even be in Endgame?
Well, that's another rumor too.
Yeah.
Because, as we know, a fair number of people got dusted by the snap at the end of Infinity War, including characters that we did not know of until very recently, because this past week, some promotional posters came out for Avengers Endgame with the caption "Avenge the Fallen."
Right.
Insanely high quality photos.
Oh, yeah.
These are, you can see like the pores on everybody. It's very close.
Yes. Also very meme worthy.
Yeah.
A lot of
yeah, that kind of blew up.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So everybody, like every person who stars in this movie, in these Avengers films, especially Infinity War, got a poster, either in color or in black and white, symbolizing if they survived the snap or not. Not specifically the snap, more so just surviving Thanos because Loki's there.
Yes.
Which I have a theory about. Gamora's there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Before we get into the main thing here, out of respect for Kayla, she said that she loves Loki, and she thinks this a reason they showed Loki in these posters. And this just dawned on me. So Heimdall, was killed by Thanos.
Didn't even get to stand up in that movie.
Before anything, like Heimdall was murdered by Thanos.
Right.
Loki was also murdered by Thanos.
Sure was.
And Gamora was murdered by Thanos. People think Gamora could come back because of the Soul Stone aspect.
Yep.
The popular theory is Loki is dead. Heimdall, I guess, is as dead as Loki.
Yeah.
Heimdall doesn't have a poster. Loki has a poster.
Heimdall was never like an Avenger though.
I feel like I feel like he wasn't that consequential.
Like Loki wasn't an Avenger, but he was very much tied in. He was the initial villain.
I think he just was I think it'd be weirder if he had a poster.
If Heimdall had one?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that would mean something.
Like does Valkyrie have a poster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of that, so the main point is there were a few characters in these posters that were either not shown in Infinity War, their fate was not revealed in Infinity War. Maybe interviews, like the Russos did say that Valkyrie and Korg got off of the Asgardian ship.
Where's Korg's poster?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I'm cool.
They ran out of pamphlets.
Yeah.
So the main takeaway from all of this is that Valkyrie is alive. Valkyrie's in this movie.
Happy's alive.
Ooh,
Happy is alive.
Yeah.
Shuri is dead.
Yeah, that was the question mark for me, and now I get it, I guess.
Yeah, Shuri, I feel like was the biggest takeaway. I feel like that's the one that blew up on Twitter. Of like, oh my God, Shuri died.
So when I was looking at these posters, I mean, I knew for the most part that obviously like the ones who were grayed out were were dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that was a confirmation on characters we didn't know, like Shuri.
Yeah,
So okay, there we go.
it's pretty fascinating.
Is it like officially, or is it just
All these are
considered-
official. These are officially official.
So the Shuri's Dunzo.
Shuri
Like they
gets
said,
announced.
the ones that are grayed out are gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
we'll see how that all resolves in Endgame. There's not much more Endgame news this week. There is a couple more posters. Some international posters came out.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Russian poster, and it's funny because you know how like in different territories, different characters are in the direct middle of the poster.
More prominence, yeah.
Yeah, so like in the Russian one, Captain America is in the like the top left. Iron Man is in
He
front
looks
of him.
really weird in that.
Yeah, and Captain America, like you can't see the America stuff on him. But it's funny that like center stage, bottom middle of the poster is Black Widow.
Yeah, I wonder why.
She's Russian.
Oh my god.
It's crazy because that's like the stuff they
That's
actually used to
silly.
sell it.
Yeah.
Like
That's so
Ultron
silly.
in China heavily featured the robots on the poster,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is weird.
right? You're looking at it right now.
I am looking at it right now.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
And then-
unfortunately.
I believe the Chinese poster had a group shot, Thanos behind everybody, and then in like silhouetted was probably like 7 or 8 of the dusted characters. So cool posters though.
Yeah.
Nice variants.
Definitely.
I'm just waiting for the day. Tickets, come on, they're so close.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
we're right on the edge.
Oh, the
I'm
Chinese
so-
poster's sick. Sorry to cut out
No, you're
again.
good.
That is actually like, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's cool seeing the variants and what they choose to
Oh, yeah.
prioritize in different territories. But yeah,
Nice.
so Avengers Endgame posters,
Looking good.
they are.
I enjoyed the memes that came out of them.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
Twitter has been on fire with like the Avengers jokes.
Yeah.
There was one I sent to you guys. It
Yeah.
was funny. It was something like Steve is in the Avengers place depressed. Black Widow's like, "Oh, do you want to go see Oates?" And Steve is like, "Just Oates? What about Oh yeah."
I saw another one where like Tony chimed in and he was like, "We could also just go to the Boy to Man concert."
Oh my god.
Jeez. Well, you know that Tony Stark humor. Hopefully, we're gonna get a chance to embody Tony Stark
Sure.
because PlayStation VR is getting an Iron Man experience exclusive to the platform called Ironman VR, not Marvel's Iron Man VR. So this isn't like Marvel's Spider-Man.
Ooh.
It is an exclusive to PlayStation though, for now at least.
Yes.
Because
Marvel likes that PlayStation, huh?
They do, and I'm glad they do.
Me
because
too.
I own.
Me too.
Also, Christian, props to you. You're very good at transitioning subjects.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
That
That's
was,
pretty good.
that was
I'm trying,
very
man.
impressive.
So this is pulled from the PlayStation blog. This past week of recording, PlayStation had their first ever PlayStation State of Play, which is a sort of Nintendo Direct style video package presentation announcing games, showing new reveals of games, and kicking this whole thing off. They announced coming summer 2019 from Sony Worldwide Studios and developer Camouflage, Iron Man VR. Coming to VR.
Now, what'd you think of that voice?
Are you asking my opinion or if I recognize who it was?
Both.
I did not recognize who it was. Is
Yeah.
it someone who's...
I have no clue.
Okay, no. So it was strange because when the thing kicked off, I was like, okay, this looks like it had a style to it because it opens with a CG cutscene of the interior of a private jet, and there's a suitcase in front of you, and to the right of you there's a pink hologram of a woman who comes up. They have a back and forth exchange. She gets cut off by some hacker or something, and it's like, you can't run from your past. And it cuts back to the lady, and you hear the voice say, Friday, what was that? Or
Yeah.
something like that. As soon as he said Friday, I was like, oh my God, is this Iron Man? And I thought it was the Avengers game
Ooh.
at first. I was like, oh my God, we're finally getting it. And I was
Yeah.
like, if this is the style, I'm kind of into it. Cut eventually to gameplay of Tony Stark flying through the sky with a heads-up display and a very clear VR hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, Iron Man VR.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's very cool. The voice is just so distracting to me for now.
oh, because it's not Robert
It's
Downey.
not Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And I imagine if the Avengers game and the Marvel's Spider-Man game and this game are all connected, which would make sense. It'd be a little weird if they weren't. That is the voice for Iron Man to come.
I could see it. I'm sure it's something we just have to get used to. You know?
Yes, it is probably something we have to get used to. But I imagine that will be the Iron Man we see in the. Is it Square?
Yes, Square Enix.
The Square Enix.
It's an interesting
Avengers
debate
game.
though, because if that is the case, then 2 Marvel, for hypotheticals, Marvel game universe
Yep.
characters are exclusive to the PlayStation.
Yeah.
So, because personally, I don't think Spider-Man at all is going to be in that Avengers game. I think it's going to be the more traditional team.
I
Maybe
could see that being a end credits
That'd be cool.
thing.
Because I feel because the way Marvel Games works, from what the public knows at least, is very disconnected of just Marvel Games is working with developers across the world with agreements to make other games.
Yep.
With Marvel characters and like licensing them out, but Marvel Games is overseeing everything. So it's an interesting conversation because you don't know if Square is down to work with Insomniac or if either of them are down to work with a smaller team in like Norway or something making a game. So it's an interesting conversation. I'm curious to see where this goes. I do have a little bit of info about the story of the game because it could just be an on-rail shooter. It could be very much more than that, like Arkham VR was, where it tells a story. From the PlayStation blog, we wanted to tell more than just an origin story. In Marvel's Ironman VR, I guess it is Marvel's Ironman VR. That wasn't the quote. The player who plays as genius inventor Tony Stark confronts ghosts from his past, powerful forces who seek to ruin everything he stands for. By fully embracing the magic of PSVR, players will come face to face with iconic allies and supervillains as they jet around the globe on a heroic mission to save not only Stark Industries, but the world itself. So very up in the air. Excuse me. So,
You know what I'm excited for?
yeah.
Is the YouTube videos of people like trying to do cool stuff Iron Man does, but you just see them doing it in real life. Like, you know how sometimes Iron Man will like shoot someone and then do like kind of a barrel roll and shoot someone else?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a video of someone just like with a VR stick like doing a 360 randomly in their house.
As a PlayStation VR owner, I will admit I have tripped up on things in the past. One time I was playing Astrobot. It's a 3D platformer, and they hide secrets in that game so well. I know this is off topic, but there's like a short waist-high wall because you're pretty much looking at it through the camera, playing as your little avatar guy. And there was a little wall, and I wanted to look behind it to see if there's a secret. I leaned over, and I tried to rest on the waist-high wall that was not there.
Oh, no.
And I caught myself, but it's happened a couple times.
I've used VR like only a couple times, but it really does kind of like...
It tricks you, yeah.
It does trick you, yeah.
And it's cool to see something like this come to PSVR, because there were a few other VR announcements. But seeing a licensed thing like this, which hopefully gets a really good treatment. I know Camouflage made Republique, which was well received by some people.
Okay.
But I recently played the Star Wars X-Wing VR mission for the first time. I would love a full game like that. I wish more people would do licensed, like familiar IP in VR. So seeing this get that is hopeful.
Definitely.
We do have one last bit of MCU news before we go into our Black Panther review this week. You know that old Tomb Raider series?
I sure do.
The movies?
The Angelina Jolie ones?
Yes.
Yep, never seen them, but sure know them.
Angelina Jolie may be making her triumphant return to raiding tombs and archaeology.
What?
Via The Hollywood Reporter, the Oscar-winning actress Angelina Jolie is in talks to star in Marvel Studios' The Eternals, a superhero team adventure feature being directed by Chloe Zhao. So, Chloe Zhao, I wanted to pull a couple more things because we have talked about Eternals before.
Yep.
But odds are, after Endgame, news of this series or this film will be ramping up. Chloe Zhao is an award-winning indie director behind the critical darlings The Rider and Songs My Brother Taught Me. I have not heard of either of those.
Yeah, no.
And the script is from Matthew and Ryan Firpo, who I did not research beforehand. But Angelina Jolie. So we talked a couple weeks ago. There was a casting rumor of a character codenamed Karen, who is presumably actually the character of Margot Damien, an archaeologist from Earth, who discovers the Eternals and Celestials. And the rumor was that the film is going to focus on her, similar to the way Jane's character was used in Thor.
Okay.
Of being a human used to scientific things and then learning about aliens in space in a scientific way.
Right.
Except this time, potentially the focus of the film is on that character instead of being a side character.
Mm-hmm.
So Angelina Jolie, what are your thoughts on this?
That's fine. I have no real love or hate for her as an
Mhm.
actress. I think she's okay.
Yeah.
Big name.
Very big name.
They're getting big names in the MCU, obviously. So
It's interesting that they would be pulling her in for a property such as this because we've talked Eternals a couple times on here.
Mm-hmm.
I know almost nothing about this. I'm still meaning to check out the Jack Kirby run because it's very short, but it's supposedly very epic, very out there, very like 70s sci-fi trippy. So trying to ground that, I feel like is going to be even harder than Guardians because you have this like Greek Odyssey level lore behind all these characters and the Titans and the Celestials and the Eternals
Mm-hmm.
and the Deviants, I believe, are the villains from my wiki scannings. But yeah, I like Angelina Jolie. It's cool if they get her. That is a big name, like you
Yeah.
said.
It's pretty
So,
good.
Getting her attached to this, I feel like, will help it perform better than it would, though.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think a movie like that will need big talent
Yeah.
to draw people in. But
Mhm.
I mean, at this point,
Yeah, I was
if you
gonna
have
say,
the Marvel name behind
Mhm.
it, honestly, I think you're fine.
I feel like it's only to a certain extent at that point, too,
Yeah.
you know? Because, like, Marvel can pretty much sell anything now.
Oh yeah,
And
it's on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Who the hell
well,
knew who they were before?
if we want to compare it to that, which was more out there at
Yeah.
the time, Guardians had Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel
Yep.
attached to it. And those were pretty big names, you know? So having them in Guardians, even though they weren't really on screen,
Yeah.
but having those names on the poster probably helped it.
Yeah, I
know?
would think so.
So that wraps up everything MCU-wise this week. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will be discussing and reviewing Marvel's Black Panther. See you in a second.
You ready for another bout?
What, you getting sleepy?
Welcome back. Now we will be discussing Black Panther, as we mentioned before, shaking the schedule up a little bit so we get a better lead into Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther, though. Black Panther is an amazing movie, and I forgot how good it was.
Yes, this is high tier Marvel.
Yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler, I don't think I've seen a movie of his that I did not like.
What did he do? Fruitvale Station.
Fruitvale Station, which
Creed?
I love.
Did he do Creed?
He did Creed, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he did Creed 2
Okay,
because he was doing Black Panther.
you're right. Yeah.
But I highly recommend Fruitvale Station if you haven't seen it. It's because Michael B. Jordan is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Very emotional, very good. Yeah. So
I must just love Michael B. Jordan.
yeah,
Yeah.
most directors usually have that one guy or girl that they usually cast in a
Right.
lot of things, you know. And Michael B. Jordan is definitely Coogler's dude.
And a good choice too.
Very good. Yeah. I'm glad. I feel like we should start here. Michael B. Jordan is in this film. Plays Eric Killmonger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know his name from Wakanda. I think they mentioned it once.
They do mention it once, and I forget it.
I do forget. I know his dad is Njabu.
Yep.
It was something like
It
Ntaku.
was similar, yeah. Because T'Chaka and T'Challa are similar.
Right.
You know, I think Njobu's or Eric's dad, Njobu, has a similar name to his son.
Right.
But a lot of people like Michael B. Jordan in this movie more than Chadwick Boseman.
I might be one of them, but I like Chadwick.
And I've seen the sentiment that people think that Coogler wishes he casted Michael B. Jordan as T'Challa instead,
Oh.
which I don't necessarily agree with. I really like Killmonger, and I think Michael B. Jordan is one of the better villains.
Yeah, I
In the
think
MCU?
so too.
I think he was also perfect for that role.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like I can't really picture Michael B. Jordan doing like a
That's my
Wakandan
point.
accent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
that's it. Yeah.
Not really the accent thing, but like seeing Michael B. Jordan being a leading man like that, I don't think he couldn't pull it off, but I do think he has more fun and more room to mess around playing the villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that he's just self-contained in this one movie
Yeah.
because I feel like there's only so much more you could do with him. I'm not glad he's dead, but I'm glad that they told his story and it all felt real and felt contained here.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have issues in the MCU with villains just showing up for one movie and dying, which I can see.
Mm-hmm. This one was powerful though.
I think so too. And yeah, you're right. Michael B. Jordan is probably better as Killmonger. That'd be interesting to see him as Black Panther, but he's perfect in this role, and I think he is the best villain in the MCU up to this point, even better than Vulture from last week, I would say.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best villains in the MCU because he's like partially right.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
radicalized, but he's right.
Yeah, I think one of the highlights of this movie absolutely is Killmonger. Watching it again, I hadn't seen Black Panther for a while. I think it's been about a year, but I remember seeing it for the first time and being blown away by Killmonger and being like, "Oh, this is so real. This is like he has a point to all of this." Seeing it again now, I've noticed more that while he does have like, I love where he's coming from with this. I love that he's gone his entire life. Every decision he has made is because of what happened to his father and because of his hate for Wakanda's people. So I like that aspect of it, and I like that he is true to his morals, and he's like, the only way I see this working is through violence, because he's been in the military, because he's like a trained assassin and everything. There is a flaw to it where it's like, all right, guy, you can like consider a couple other options. Like, it is very much, I won't say as far as like cartoony villain,
Yeah.
but there were points where I was like, his logic was, it could have been deeper.
Right. I never thought he was evil.
Yeah.
He was never purely evil. The only weird thing that the thing that was odd to me was the Zaz-like scarring that he does for every victim he kills.
Yeah.
Like from Zaz from Batman. But
yeah, I didn't mind that. I thought that was
that's fine, and it, like, just to me it was like, oh well, like he makes sense, like the things that he's saying, but that kind of is a little strange to me. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but
yeah.
I think it's like, could that be a Wakandan thing? Because he does have a lot of knowledge about Wakanda, and there are other characters in the movie who have like, the dude who's in Get Out has like similar like facial scarring along the bottom of his
maybe,
eyes.
yeah, I don't know. It could very well be. It could just be him being a psychopath.
yeah, he is deranged in that sense.
Yeah,
with,
for
with
sure.
the scarring. But yeah, you're right. Like, and you're right too, Pat. His ethics and his morals and like what he wants to accomplish is kind of right.
Yeah.
And this is easily the most, and perhaps the only political movie Marvel has ever made.
Yeah, and I think it nails a lot of its messages. But I don't think there's a message that they try to get across that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we talked already about Killmonger not necessarily being wrong, because you can also compare the Wakanda aspect of it and T'Challa and T'Chaka, of people that don't do anything are as guilty as people who do things terribly. And Wakanda, like, so much of the conflict and so much of Killmonger's motivation is the fact that Wakanda is just a bystander in all of the horrors that go on around the globe.
Very isolationist.
Yeah. So I really love the way that Black Panther, not the character, the movie, takes care of all of these messages. I think it's very effective, and again, not a surprise, because Fruitvale Station also had very powerful messages about racial violence and stuff like that.
This is the most unique Marvel movie, and it's, what is it, the 18th in the series?
I think so. It's deep, definitely.
Yeah. And
it could easily just be its own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's why people liked this, because there, in the MCU and just in movies in general, there are very few movies that focus on an African culture. Even if this one is fake, it still takes inspirations from other African cultures.
Yeah.
And I can see why people would connect with that.
Yeah.
And especially with the politics this movie is trying to discuss and engage with.
Yeah.
I think it's very important.
Yeah, especially as a cultural being, because this movie blew up. I know my sister is a teacher in Framingham, and some of the kids in her class are obsessed with Black Panther.
Yeah.
Because they feel like validated, I guess, because they see someone who looks like them. Same thing with Spider-Verse, why that was so successful.
Definitely.
And speaking of, like, from a more general sense of being different and unique from most of the MCU, this is one of the only Marvel movies my sister has watched since, like, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah?
Well, she's, like, almost a decade older than me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is one, like, she loves this movie. And I think it is because, a mix of probably her kids, but also, like, her students, and the way that it just blew up everywhere.
I think this is the best origin story in the MCU.
I would agree with that. And even with that, it's like, I feel like it's an origin story the same way the Homecoming is an origin story.
Yeah. I'd say yeah, you're right.
Because both of them did kind of get their origin in Civil War.
Yeah.
So it's like the first take of
Right.
being empowered. Because with Spider-Man, it was like, okay, now I have the ability to be working on my own. With Black Panther, it's like, now I have to be a king on top of being a warrior.
That's true. I guess it really isn't an origin story now that I think of it.
It's an origin in some respects, and the way they shoot, like, wrote it and stuff.
More so than, I feel like Spider-Man, it's not like, it doesn't break the fourth wall in this, but it's like, you know what Spider-Man is. But I feel like most people didn't know what Black Panther was, so they did a lot of introduction in the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who he was until Civil War.
Yeah,
I didn't even know he was like a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the only reason I knew of him and the only reason I knew who Doctor Strange was before all these movies was because of a video game. So it is much more unknown, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But Black Panther overall, I think, is a very good movie. It's unique within the MCU. It's also unique in modern Hollywood, I guess, because obviously, like, the throne, the family drama, that was a complaint people had. It's like, oh, we've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much you can do, with a story like this.
Right.
But I think Black Panther did an amazing spin on it because it did give it the superhero lens, and it gave it the lens of a technologically advanced, idealistic, like, Star Trek, like, very progressive nation that is foreign to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But, let's talk about, like, Chadwick Boseman, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I feel like his evolution of Black Panther that started in Civil War and where he ended in Civil War, I love that progression in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. The best part in this movie to me is after he had fallen off of he was pushed off of the cliff by Killmonger and was put under the snow. By the way, the worst CG in any that snow I take severe issue with. That was bad. That was really bad.
Because I tried to pay attention again last night because I was like, is it really CG or is it like just really bad fake snow?
Yeah,
I think it's CG.
Oh, it's like real bad CG, like really bad.
Speaking of that, we're gonna get to the ending fight probably, but yeah, I think Black Panther as a character is just so fascinating because there's elements of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, I feel like he's kind of cooler than Batman because
I think so.
He's a king. He doesn't hide that he is the Black Panther. Like, everyone knows, like, everyone in Wakanda knows at least, it's like, oh, my king is the defender of this nation.
Yeah.
And I guess to some extent now the world may know, varying degrees of people knowing, like, the extent of it. It could just be like, oh yeah, that Black Panther is King T'Challa's bodyguard.
Yeah.
Or T'Challa, sorry.
Yeah. What I liked about
he was T'Challa's bodyguard.
Black Panther's character, T'Challa's character, was he learns from his enemy, and like he learns from Killmonger in a way that Killmonger wanted to help people around the world, help Black people around the world, but do so in a violent way, and like fight against their oppressors. But like T'Challa takes that and he's like, that's true, but let's do it in a different way. And he stands. The thing that I liked most, like my favorite part in this movie, going back to it, was after this bad CGI snow, he goes back into the what was it, the planes? Do you know?
The astral plane.
Yeah, the
ancestral plane.
Yeah, the ancestral plane. And he basically tells everyone there that they're
everyone
wrong
before him. Yeah,
he's like, you're all wrong.
Yeah, I loved that interaction with his dad too, because you mentioned he goes back. That first scene with the ancestral plane when he's talking to his father, very emotional, because that was the first time he's able to sort of address how he failed in the Civil War. So he has that connection with his father, and that's so much of the focus of that scene. And he just doubts himself so much. And again, seeing his progression from what Killmonger spawned in his head when he returns to the ancestral plane, and he's just like, screw all this, you guys did horrible things by not doing anything. So I do think a lot of the character growth in this is very good and very earned.
Yeah, it shows a great deal of maturity on his part, I'd say. And I really, after that, I was like, okay, I like this character.
I love Black Panther.
Yeah, he's great.
It reminds me a lot of Wonder Woman.
How so?
So like, it's kind of this like, there's external struggles, but like similar to Wonder Woman. Like they don't really
Like
just,
seclusion.
yeah, like they
Mhm.
want to
Mm.
they protect themselves or
Yeah.
keep themselves hidden
Mm-hmm.
as compared to intervening when they easily could
Yeah.
Yeah.
and make a
right.
huge difference. I
That's
see a lot of
interesting.
ties between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never picked up on that. That's interesting. One of my favorite moments, because this is a Marvel movie, this is a blockbuster, is in Korea, the car chase.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the use of tech in this movie and
Yeah,
all the gadgets he has. Similar to Batman.
Yeah. very
Again,
similar.
a lot of Batman comparisons. But the car chase in Korea after the casino fight, which again was great. That car chase is great. The song they use on the Black Panther soundtrack.
Oh yeah. By the way, best soundtrack out there.
The Black Panther
Real
soundtrack
good.
and the
It
Black
was
Panther
sick,
OST,
yeah.
both 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, so good.
They're very good.
Made by Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar
Kendrick.
produced it, and I think he was on probably about half the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real good.
There is one thing I want to say. I got beef with that scene.
Which the car chase?
Yeah. Well, like it's the most technologically savvy like nation in the world. They're making suits out of like you
Metal.
what? Yeah.
Out of metal.
No, well, you basically just go like, I want to wear this, and then all of a sudden it just comes out of a necklace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They couldn't give Shuri like a pillow for underneath her floating car. She fell out of the air like 3 feet, and
Yeah.
landed right on her ass. Like you couldn't just put a mattress there or something.
Yeah, it's
That's a
kind
good
of
point.
it's kind of funny, and it's the same thing happened with Ross at the end. So I guess that's just something they deal with. Like
They should have made more of a point of that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we should really fix this.
maybe that's their punishment for losing millions of dollars in technology that they just destroyed. It's
Yeah.
like I gotta fall down.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, the car chase I love. The entire sequence in Korea is great.
Mm-hmm.
That interaction with him and Ross, I love that dynamic too.
I love Ross in this movie.
Me too.
I really do. He was like, at first when I was watching this, I was like, why is this random character from Civil War
Mm-hmm.
here? But I think it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And I really just love Martin Freeman.
Oh yeah,
to be
he's
honest.
great. And I do hope he's still around in the future
Mm-hmm.
in the MCU, and I'm assuming he will be. But
Is he the new Coulson?
that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe.
I'm praying he ends up like in some regard involved with Doctor Strange.
So the
It's
Yeah.
just like the
Yeah.
nod to Sherlock.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that'd be something.
And well, yeah, it'd be him and Robert Downey Jr. and Benedict Cumberbatch.
That'd be something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd actually be great.
Yeah.
I won't say the line, but someone wanted Tom Holland to say no Sherlock to both of those two. And
there was
Infinity War.
there was a nod that I picked up on in Infinity War, which I'll bring up again when we do the episode. But there's a point where it's just like a medium shot of like the left side of the frame is either Tony or Strange, and they're on opposite sides. It's their profiles. They're just looking at each other, and then Tony's like, "Do you concur?" And I picked up that as like the Sherlock nod.
That is kind
I
of
was
a
like, all
Sherlock
right, that's
nod.
as close as you can get without
Yeah.
like being cheesy about it. But
Do
yeah,
you concur? Yeah.
because I mean, like even if they had Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman in another scene, Hobbit, Smaug, and
Oh, you're
Bilbo.
yeah, that's right.
So it's funny how a lot of these characters or these actors always end up in the same franchise over
Oh, yeah.
time. But yeah, Ross is great. The surrounding cast too,
Yeah,
all around.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Mhm.
I always forget the actress's name.
Who plays Okoye?
Yeah.
Denai Guerrero.
Yes.
From The Walking Dead.
From The Walking Dead. Yeah. It's funny
She's-
because she's known for her like really long dreadlocks, and The Walking Dead has no hair in this.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
I love her, and
She's
especially in Infinity War.
Yeah,
the
she's
battle
awesome. in
sequence, she's
Infinity
great,
War,
yeah.
M'Baku.
Mbaku's so good. I love him so much.
Mhm.
I love him. Winston Duke too.
Yeah.
I've like seen interviews with him. He just seems like a great guy.
Yeah, he's really funny in this too. Like
Yeah.
it's interesting because his character goes from this like very imposing guy in the beginning of the movie who like nearly kills Black Panther to this kind of like jokester a little bit.
Yeah,
like, towards the end.
It's
Yeah.
cool seeing him as the leader of that whole nation, and then he's just kind of like messing with Black Panther when he comes up.
Yeah.
I like to see it. Well, it was like a complete character shift when like they were in the bear tribes,
Mhm.
like whatever throne room with all the hanging wood.
Mhm.
I don't know. And then they're like, he's like, one more word from you and I'll feed you to my family.
Yeah.
He's just like, we're vegetarian. Like I don't know. Like, it just felt so
Yeah.
different, but like
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he sticks around too, because I do think the entire surrounding cast of Black Panther is really great.
Yeah, definitely. One of the
Shuri
best, I'd say.
also.
Oh, Shuri's awesome.
I love Shuri.
What are those?
A lot of people don't like that joke. I thought it worked.
That's fine. It took me a while, and I feel dumb for not realizing this, but she was like, when she was talking about the sneakers, she makes a Back to the Future Part 2 reference, and
Yeah.
I didn't get that until recently.
Yeah.
The self-lacing aspect of it.
Yeah, she's
was
like, oh, that old American movie that father loves.
Yeah. Back to
cool
the Future
nod.
2. What a random reference.
I'd love to, speaking of, again, at the top half of the show, when we were talking about the younger cast, I'd love to see any interaction with Shuri and Peter, just because both of them are inventors. Obviously, Shuri's like, I think the smartest character in the MCU so far.
That's what people have been saying, yeah.
Yeah, so having an interaction with her and Peter, I feel like could be charming, because she also has that teenage, like, sarcasm attitude that I feel like this probably won't happen, but like if you threw her in with Peter and his friends, I feel like she'd fit in perfectly.
Definitely. And imagine seeing her and Ned and Peter interacting and MJ.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That, like what we were saying earlier about the MCU just like skewing younger a little bit. That'd be a really cool team up with her and Peter. And maybe some other younger characters as we go along, as Miss Marvel, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And she fought at the end of this.
Yeah. I was, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, she's dead. When Killmonger was like making his way towards her, I was like, she's going to die.
Yeah.
Killmonger is going to kill her. But never ended up doing it, thank God.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yeah, Shuri's great.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace.
What else do we want to talk about for Black Panther? Let's talk about Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis was our first introduction to Wakanda.
In Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Vibranium in the first Avenger.
Yep.
I don't remember if Tony's dad mentioned Wakanda.
No.
He may have. I don't know.
Maybe. I think Wakanda was first mentioned by Bruce Banner in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. That was definitely
by
the
lieu
first,
of Andy Serkis' character.
Yeah, that was
Plot.
the first major nod for setup. And
This is like one of his few live action roles.
yeah, he's not on screen a ton.
No, he's usually mocap and Gollum or Caesar.
He just has a great time in this movie, doesn't he?
Oh, he loves it. Yeah.
Yeah, seeing him helping the villain. I love that heist at the beginning, the job they're pulling. He's like, you can go. And then like he lets him go like 10 steps away and just pops him in the back of the head.
He's great in this role.
Yeah.
And I feel like he very rarely gets to be like Gollum, but like psychotic, like happy seemingly guy who plays a villain. I don't know. I thought that was really cool.
And the best part of that is it felt like it still fit in. You know?
Definitely, yeah.
Because he just seemed like a crazy pirate that was just loving life, even though he's missing an arm now, but he loves it because he's got all this tech in his arm now.
Yeah.
His arm is sick.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's really cool tech.
I think it's better than like Winter Soldier's arm.
It's cool. It's
probably
more functional.
Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, it's kind of a shame he died because I would have liked to see him be a returning villain for Black Panther a couple times, you know. Maybe he doesn't really like get that closure for him in a couple movies from now, but like the way they handled it, the way they used it as Killmonger's gateway,
right,
that fit. So not too bummed about that.
That's another thing that you mentioned, Pat. One of the end credits was Winter Soldier.
It was
coming back for Infinity War soon enough. The White Wolf, was that what they were calling him?
Yes.
Or have they called him that yet?
One of the kids called him the Wolf. I don't know if they said the White Wolf.
Okay, very cool.
And yeah, so one of the other things that I definitely want to talk about is probably not for long, but Killmonger's death scene. Insanely powerful.
Yeah.
So much of his character development too, because he did have an arc he went through.
Right.
Dealing with his father, seeing how traumatic that was for him as a kid. That, not necessarily the reveal of Forrest Whitaker's character, but like seeing zero hesitation from Killmonger when Zuri is like, I'm responsible for your father's death.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just kill both of you.
Right.
Stabs him. That, again, fits in with his character. The scene he has with his father in the ancestral plane. I like that it was like the twist on it. It wasn't just like in the windows you could see the ancestral plane, but they were in their apartment from him as a kid.
Yeah. I
liked that. And his death scene, again, talking about just the messages this movie has. That line, insanely powerful.
The I'd rather die in the ocean than
because they knew
bondage.
Yeah, they knew death was better than bondage.
Yeah.
And he just pulls the sword out of him. That's like something.
Yeah, it's a really tough scene.
It's
Yeah.
weird again because it's like climactic defeat of a villain,
Mhm.
but again, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really care for him actually in that scene.
And to some extent, I won't say he won, but his the thing he wanted to accomplish is going to be taken care of.
Yes, in some way.
Mm-hmm. And T'Challa's ideology, I guess now, as the king of Wakanda is forever changed because of what Killmonger did.
Yes. Yeah, he does win in a certain light.
From a certain point of view.
Right.
So yeah, that was really great.
Yeah. Something I noticed in this movie that I wouldn't have noticed like the first time I watched this. This is probably like the fourth time I've seen this movie.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're mentioning something about the Zuri reveal.
Mm-hmm.
But he does say his name, and I just picked up. He says his name, or someone says his name
Yeah.
in the very beginning of this movie.
Yeah.
And then as he's doing as his older self, the Forrest Whitaker character is doing the not celebration, the ceremony. He says his name Zuri again.
Yeah.
So if you like, and he says it really quick in the beginning, but if you listened and you connected it, you could be like, oh, that's that same character. But for
Yeah.
me, that was a reveal.
There was also speaking of that, I picked up on this last night when I watched it. There's I forget what his code name was when he was undercover. I think let's just say it was Jerry.
Sure.
Or James. It was
James, yeah.
So, and it was a J. So, obviously, growing up as a kid, Eric knew who he was.
Mhm.
Like that was because he was best friends with his dad.
Yeah. It's like his
And-
uncle, probably. too.
Yeah. So there's that scene when Killmonger gets brought in to the throne room or the council room, and Zuri's there, and he makes eye contact with him, and Zuri like looks away, and you see like Eric linger for a second, and then at the end when they're or not at the end, in the scene where T'Challa and Eric are gonna fight without any powers, and Zuri reveals that it was him. Eric just looks at him. He's like, he calls him Uncle Jay. It's
Yeah.
like he knew who he was.
Right.
So I thought that was a nice touch.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But speaking of fights, though, that ending fight doesn't look terrible, but it's like bad.
Yeah, it's not the best. Like even the outside part.
Yeah.
On the
I thought the
plane.
sunset looked good.
Yeah, no, that was good.
You know, at the end.
I felt like it was kind of anticlimactic.
Yeah,
The fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really
I think
seem
the
like-
whole fight, like from when he comes back, like from the start in the field.
Even on the field.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, didn't do it for me. The Rhino,
The Rhino looked kind of weird.
bad CG.
I liked seeing the Dora Milaje fighting against Killmonger.
Yeah,
That I thought all the choreography looked really good.
yeah,
And seeing T'Challa deal with the hordes with like the pulse from his suit, I thought that was cool and all that was nice. And seeing Shuri hold her own against Killmonger was good.
There are two issues I have
Mhm.
with this scene.
So,
One, he's fighting someone who's a carbon copy of him, which I know a lot of people have issues with.
it's funny because the suit Killmonger is wearing is the other option that he had. At the
Yeah,
beginning.
he's
it's
like,
literally
no.
his other suit.
Yeah, which is it's fine in this, I guess. It's not like
It's like-
Hulk abomination level.
Right, and I mean, like, they're cousins. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It feels more
Yeah.
not earned, but like it makes more sense, I guess.
It makes somewhat sense, but like whatever.
I agree, yeah.
Another issue I have just with Black Panther as a character, I feel like with his suit, he doesn't have any like vulnerabilities. Like no one can do anything to him. And I guess that's similar with Iron Man, but Iron Man gets messed up in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And we just haven't seen that with Black Panther.
Yeah.
Because his suit is just indestructible, so what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, in this movie, I feel like that's not as big of a problem because everything is vibranium.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And as we saw when he scratched Cap's shield, vibranium can mess up vibranium.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I see where you're coming from, though. Like, he had to use the train magnets to deactivate Killmonger's suit to get
Yeah.
in on him and get a killing blow.
Right.
So I get that, yeah. I feel like there's only so much beating he can take, though. You know,
That's fair.
like
yeah.
if the Hulk just destroyed him and like
Yeah.
just like pounded him into
Sure,
the
his
dirt.
head's rattling around in that helmet.
Yeah,
You also it did pop up in the movie. Like if he gets hard enough, like the kinetic energy that's being stored in his suit can get knocked out.
Yeah.
So I feel like he can actually, like, he can't take damage. It doesn't. It's
That's
not
right.
like every hit he takes ends up being some sort of weapon for him to use later.
Right.
Yeah, and I like too that he didn't have full control over that burst at sometimes, because I think when Killmonger went to the police station and broke out Claw, he jumps on the grenade, so he has the kinetic energy stored up.
Yeah.
But he gets like thrown against the wall and then he loses it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he loses that piece of his arsenal. So I do think a lot of the fighting in this is good though. I like a lot of the choreography.
Yep.
The CGI at the end, yeah.
I think the best fights are the like ceremonial fights.
Oh yeah, those are brutal
incredible.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably the most blood in any MCU
Yep.
movie.
I would think so.
Yeah, it's pretty violent. Very brutal, very hard hitting. Both fights. I like the one with M'Baku a lot and the one with Killmonger.
That one's sad.
Yeah, that one is like. Is there music playing during the Killmonger one?
I think there is. Yeah.
Okay.
It's very like Game of Thronesy. Like, people like T'Challa's getting like his joints slit, so that way he can't fight
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it was pretty. Like you said, it was brutal.
It
It's
is,
almost
yeah.
Bane Batman like in their Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff in here.
Right.
I feel like that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about for Black Panther. I really like this movie. Again, my only big issues are, the CG isn't the best in a lot of places. Killmonger, while he is a great villain and has a very powerful motivation, and I think the scenes we get from those aspects are great, I do feel like he still is a Marvel villain, you know? It's not like somebody's going to compare him to Hannibal Lecter or someone as far as incredibly complex villains go, which I'm not asking that to be the case, but it is something I noted.
Yeah.
I still think he's, like you said, I think he's the best one so far.
I think so. Up to this point, yeah.
I might like Vulture more,
Right.
but I do think the better villain is Killmonger.
I think it's easier for people to connect with Killmonger than it is to
for sure.
Vulture. Yeah.
So, is there anything else that you want to say about Black Panther, or do you want to get to ratings?
I think that's it for me. This movie kind of has increased over time in terms of my opinion of it. I think it is high tier Marvel.
Yeah.
I think it is like, I wouldn't know how to like make a cutoff, but I think this is like the final high tier Marvel movie, in my opinion. But I think it's up there with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's very good. When I watched this the other night, I wasn't questioning my opinions on the MCU, but I had to make a call, which we'll get to in my ranking, that ended up being personal for me. But I do think this is probably one of the best Marvel movies, like full stop.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, who wants to go first this week with the ratings?
Can I go first again?
Go
Sure.
for it.
Let's go. I'm gonna go top down.
Oh,
So number one.
I went bottom up
All right.
last time.
okay.
And I'm looking to spice it up.
All right.
So number 1, Civil War. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Number 3, Homecoming. Number 4, Age of Ultron. Number 5, Winter Soldier. 6, Guardians of the Galaxy. 7, Black Panther. 8, Captain Marvel. 9, Iron Man 3. 10, Avengers. 11, Cap 1. 12, Ant-Man. 13, Iron Man. 14, Doctor Strange. 15, Iron Man 2. 16, Thor. 17, Hulk. 18, Thor 2.
Very nice.
I've almost lost count like 6 different times throughout that. I wish I could have gone faster.
We're getting close. We're rounding out. I'll go next. So 18 we're at?
Mm-hmm.
18 is The Incredible Hulk. 17 is Thor the Dark World. 16 is Iron Man 2. 15 is The First Avenger, Captain America. Number 14 is The Avengers. 13 is Thor. 12 is Doctor Strange. 11 is Iron Man. 10 is Ant-Man. 9 is Iron Man 3. 8 is Captain Marvel. 7 is Captain America Civil War. 6 is Avengers Age of Ultron. 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy. 4 is Black Panther. 3 is Guardians Volume 2. 2 is Spider-Man Homecoming. And number 1 is The Winter Soldier.
Nice.
So the decision I made...
Yeah. Black Panther over Guardians.
Yeah. So Black Panther is a better movie than Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot make any case for that.
Mm-hmm.
It might even be better than Spider-Man Homecoming.
Mm.
But I love those characters so much that, again, this is a mix of like critical opinion and personal favorites.
Right.
So Black Panther is a nice number 4 for me.
Yeah, that's I have another thing with Guardians too. It is about the characters and like wanting to just kind of hang around with them for a movie. 18 is The Incredible Hulk. 17 is Thor: The Dark World. 16 is Doctor Strange. 15 is Thor. 14 is Ant-Man. 13 is Iron Man 2. 12 is Iron Man. 11 is Captain America: The First Avenger. 10 is Iron Man 3. 9 is Captain Marvel. I might switch those two at some point or another.
Iron Man 3 and Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Who knows, though. Number 8 is Avengers. Number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 6 is Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 5 is Black Panther. Number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 3, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And number 1, Captain America: Civil War.
Very nice. I like how... I do think it's interesting as the weeks have gone on, seeing how our lists have evolved and changed, and how there are some similarities, but insane differences at the same time.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's very cool. Next week, we will be reviewing Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I'm really excited to see again.
Me too. I like that movie a lot.
I
fun.
remember watching it and really liking it,
Yeah.
but I never saw it since it was in theaters.
It's like good mid-tier Marvel.
Yeah.
It's like really good.
And I really like the first Ant-Man,
Yeah.
so I'm interested to see if this cracks top 10, because right now Ant-Man's at number 10.
Oh yeah, we're deep in there, huh?
Yeah.
18? Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is like what it's going to look like. Huh. I keep looking at this list. I'm like, it's going to change. I'm like, oh, this is pretty much it.
I could still shift some things around. Like there could be a night where I'm like, I can't do Ant-Man like this, and I gotta keep him in the top 10. But yeah, crazy.
Very interesting.
So yeah, next week is Ant-Man and the Wasp. We're getting very close to Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Very, very, very close. But until then, we're gonna have some more stuff going on the show. You can follow the show on Twitter at Excelsior JC. We are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Look up Excelsior or Excelsior JC or Excelsior with an exclamation point. You'll probably find it. It's the green and red one. We are also on youtube.com/joyclicks. If you're seeing me look at you right now, you're already there. So,
Yeah, probably.
liking the show, leaving comments, we will read stuff. Following around does help the show out a ton. But if you care about us, you can also follow us on our social medias. Pat, you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, I actually want to plug 2 things. I'm going to plug my Twitter at @thepmoron, and then I also want to plug on omaze.com. They're doing these contests to benefit charity, where basically you donate, you get entries, and then you could go to the Endgame premiere with an Avenger. So Benedict Cumberbatch and Mark Ruffalo are both 2 that are featured right now. Figured, why not?
Yeah.
Let's get charitable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, I think the past few Star Wars movies have done that also.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember J.J. Abrams doing an Omaze something or another.
Yeah, it's for some good causes. One is to help families out in Nigeria, and then the other is to help out a school, like a community school for children who want to act. So
Very cool.
It's a good plug.
Yeah.
Jack?
You can follow me at Fascinated Jack on Twitter and Instagram. I have a video game news briefing podcast called The Polygonal Sunrise on the Amherst Wire. You can follow that on Twitter at PolygonalPod, or you can find it on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Podbean by searching The Polygonal Sunrise.
Very nice. And you can follow me on Twitter at Chris N. Buckley. Marvel tweets, game tweets, other things coming up on JoyClicks. We got some.
by the way, since we've last done an episode, you had a little tweet go viral.
I did.
We didn't talk about that
Wait,
at all.
what's this?
So I got it kind of broke my phone. I got 1,300 likes and I think 700 retweets.
Wow.
Because I compared the monster from the new Stranger Things trailer to the appetizer from SpongeBob.
Oh, I haven't seen this. I'm going to look this up while you just describe this.
So yeah, that's one of the bummers for Stranger Things for me, because I love that show, but whenever they showed the monster in the first season, it kind of took some steam out of it for me. And then second one was but the trailer just shows this blob of meat. And when I saw it, there were things sticking out of it, and I was like, that's the appetizer from the fancy episode of SpongeBob, the fancy Krusty Krab episode.
Jesus.
So that kind of blew up. Obviously, since it blew up, I plugged the show in the comments.
You
I was
did,
like, you know
yeah.
what?
Nice.
I got a Marvel
Response.
show. Check it out.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, that's funny. Hell yeah.
So that does it for Black Panther. And until next time,
See you later. Signing
Yeah.
off.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Yes,
the-
Wakanda forever.